welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case, and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Joining me in the studio today is my co-pilot, Jeff Harding. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Kyle. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Man, it's good to be back.
It's been a long time.
I've been out of commission for a little while. I've been on the road a little bit and doing some promotion for the games, and I had a family vacation and several things going on, but it's good to be back.
I see your muscle memory retention is strong because you remembered how to do it.
Well, thank you. We'll see how the show goes.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Might take some time to get warmed back up, but yeah, it's great to be home. I listened to your shows, by the way, and thank you for filling in, and you did a great job.
Well, thank you.
They were fun shows. Great guests.
They were some great guests.
That really helps.
I scheduled especially because I knew I was going to be doing it, so I got the really easy ones.
You got the good ones
while I was doing it.
No, we always have great guests on, and
every week.
The last few weeks have been no exception.
Yeah.
So Jeff, do you ever feel like you're on a weight loss, weight gain roller coaster? Have you ever felt that way, ups and downs?
I used to think that. Now I'm just on the uphill.
Okay.
It's in perpetuity.
Just perpetually
up. Yeah.
Well, so there's consistency there.
No end in sight.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that way. You know, we try to lose a weight, we're a little bit successful, and then it comes back, and then we lose it again, and so forth and so on. I don't think that's out of the ordinary for most of us.
Actually, I just play hide and seek with it.
Oh, okay.
I lose it for a little bit, then it finds me again.
And then
it brings its friends.
You count to 100.
Yeah,
and then
it comes. Yeah,
it comes right.
As soon as it finds me, and there it goes.
Well, let me tell you something. I want to talk today a little bit about weight loss. We talk about that regularly.
We do.
Because it's important to have a healthy, maintain a healthy weight.
It makes a difference.
But researchers at the Cornell Food and Brand Lab created a global healthy weight registry. So in other words, they put a bunch of people on this registry that have maintained a healthy weight throughout their entire life, which seems like a good group to be a part of.
Yeah.
Right?
Were there 3 or 4?
Well, it doesn't say how many there were, but I think there were a significant number.
There probably are.
There were a bunch of people in this registry, and then they are able to perform certain surveys and studies and things like that. So they specifically wanted to ask these people, what is it that you eat? What are your eating habits?
Oh, okay.
And they found some really interesting consistencies across the board. So I want to share a few of those things, okay?
All right.
To maybe, hopefully, help us get off of that roller coaster or the perpetual upward trend.
Just the upward.
Whichever it is, either way. So the first thing that they found with this group is that they think that counting calories is pretty lame.
I've heard that.
Most people who maintain a healthy weight throughout their lifetime don't count a lot of calories, which I thought was interesting. They found that they focus on good quality foods like fruits and vegetables and good fats and quality protein, but they don't really dwell a lot on the quantity. This is what they do, and this is revolutionary.
Okay.
They pay attention to their body.
See?
So when
I knew there was going to be a catch.
When they're hungry, they eat, and then when they're full, they stop.
Okay, we'll see.
Now this is revolutionary, right?
But I have this problem. My body never tells me I'm full.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you're not sure that you can trust your body, here's what you can do.
Okay.
Because a lot of us have that problem, right?
Yeah.
Or we know when we're full, but we don't care. But if you don't trust your body,
one or the other.
You can start by taking a moment to notice the smells, the flavors, and the texture of your food while you're eating. And then the act of slowing down a little bit allows your hunger to subside and your fullness to catch up with your fork.
Well, what does your right arm do although you're doing all that thinking and experiencing?
Maybe scratching your temple.
Okay.
Maybe contemplating. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Number 2, they start their mornings with a hearty breakfast. And we've talked about that before, the importance of starting your day. And I've heard studies that go both ways on that. But this particular group found that they started their morning with a veggie omelet, which is interesting. So people in the survey, they ranked eggs, vegetables, and fruit as their top breakfast picks. And really, what's better than a couple of protein-packed eggs and some fiber-rich vegetables?
You mean better than waffles with whipped cream and syrup on it?
That's what I mean.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
All right.
So the answer is 2 protein-packed eggs and fiber-rich vegetables is better than waffles and syrup and whipped cream.
Better for you, not better. I'm sorry, I was confused.
All right, number 3. This one sounds a little counterintuitive, but it really makes a lot of sense, and that is that they are notoriously going after fatty foods. But the fatty foods that they eat are nuts.
The healthy fats.
Yeah, healthy fats. So that shouldn't be too big of a surprise since more and more research is demonstrating that high-fat foods like nuts and nut butters don't necessarily make you fat. In fact, they play a huge role in keeping you fuller longer, which means that you're consuming less, and it helps burn off stubborn body fat and belly fat, and even boosting your mood while you're consuming these nuts or nut butters, peanut butter, things like that.
So it's okay to eat all those dry roasted peanuts.
Well, according to what these guys do.
All right. I'm liking this survey.
Lifelong healthy weights for these people, so things to think about. Nuts are their number 2 favorite snack. Their number 1 favorite snack is fruit, so keep that in mind. And then finally, this group of people tends to really love vegetables. And I know that you love vegetables.
I do.
You really enjoy them.
I'm a big vegetable eater.
And I've kind of acquired a taste for them over the last few years. I like vegetables as well. But the real key to healthy eating and a slim life is to eat more vegetables. 65% of the respondents say that they eat vegetables at dinner every single day. 35% eat a salad at lunch every day, and 51% include fruits and vegetables with their daily breakfast, like we just talked about.
Yeah.
So in short, they've really nailed the whole color your plate thing. They've got that thing down. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up meat. Only 7% of the respondents of the survey were vegetarians. So 93% of them ate meat. But they were, of course, were smart about it, and incorporating some animal protein into your overall veggie-heavy diet is perfectly acceptable as long as it's at the right quantities. And
well, this time of year around here, it's great because your gardens are producing now.
Your garden is producing.
Yes.
We've talked about my garden and my troubles with my garden. I've been away for 3 weeks. I came home and everything was completely and totally died. It just died.
We're doing great.
My landscapers turned my sprinklers off.
Oh, that was special of them.
So therefore I have no vegetables.
Well, we're getting lots of zucchini. We're getting lots of cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots.
All good stuff.
All good stuff,
and again, I know that you like that. And if you want to maintain a healthy weight, according to this registry, consume lots of that stuff.
Well, that's perfect.
Great. Well, today's guest is a sports medicine specialist and an athletic trainer at Dixie State University. Brittany Pollastro is joining us here in the studio today. So, Brittany, what do you think of that? Does that sound like that makes sense, or is that counterintuitive based on your experience?
No, I think that seems to make sense. We tell our athletes to have a good diet. We bring a dietitian in. They talk to them, and pretty much say that have a good balance between carbs, protein, and fat. So
at the college level, with the athletes that you're working with, obviously diet is important to them.
Absolutely.
Now, is that something that you're directly involved in, or do you mostly leave that to the dietitian?
We mostly leave that to the dietitian.
Yeah.
And then the coaches also like to get involved with that.
Sure. I'm sure they do.
The strength coach will sometimes say
have
his
some
piece
good
too.
suggestions.
Yep.
Then, of course, it's up to all of us to apply or not apply that great advice that we receive, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Brittany, tell us just a little bit about what is an athletic trainer? What is it that an athletic trainer does?
Okay, so an athletic trainer, so we specialize in sports medicine. So we are in charge of those athletes that get injured. We do all their initial evals, and then we take care of those injuries. We do treatment, rehab. If it's a severe injury, we send them to the doctor for further evaluation. And then, we take care of them and bring them back to full recovery and participation.
At least that's the goal, is to get them back on the field and able to compete again, especially at the college level where you're working.
So you're actually part of the rehab?
Yes. So we do all the rehab there in-house.
So you don't say you have a broken whatever. You actually say, well, this is what you have to do to get your broken whatever fixed.
Well, if it's broken, we're sending them to the doctor.
And it might depend on the whatever, too.
Well,
exactly.
Okay, I was trying to be generic enough that you can answer the question, but I'll be more specific.
Well, that's great. So not everybody gets to walk around with an athletic trainer watching over them. Most of us don't have the access to that. We're kind of on our own. So what are some things that you might suggest that people could do to help them prevent injuries in the first place? That's a big one. As an athlete, a senior athlete or otherwise, the last thing you want to be is injured. No one wants to be on the bench. You want to be out there playing. And we found, especially for our senior athletes who have competed their whole life or have picked up a sport at the end of their life, they're doing it because they love it and they don't want to have injury time. So recommendations or suggestions that people could do to avoid some of these injuries that happen.
First off, especially for the older athletes, the senior athletes, to not just come out and be a weekend warrior. So you want to make sure you're training year-round, getting ready for your competition, staying active year-round is very important. Make sure that before your competition, you're getting a good warm-up, getting your heart rate up. So if that's a light jog, stretch for 5 minutes, and then really do some dynamic stretching.
If I can interrupt just a second.
Yes.
We hear warming up regularly. What exactly is a good warm-up?
All right, so I like to recommend...
That's a great question. I always wonder about that. Am I warm enough?
Exactly.
When I, the once a year when I do my Weekend Warrior attempt, I'm wondering if I'm warm enough.
So we like to get our heart rate up. So if that's jogging for 5 minutes, getting that heart rate up, getting the blood flowing, and then going into some dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching is stretching with movement involved. Trying to think of some dynamic stretch I could explain over the radio, but just like doing squats, like a round of air squats. That's a good dynamic stretch.
Toe touches,
lunges.
Now, that's hypothetical because I know my feet are down there, but I've not actually touched them in a long time.
Right,
Got to work on that flexibility.
Maybe knee touches or mid thigh touches.
Close.
So just that movement, and you want to warm up the muscles that you're going to be using. So and make sure that those are ready for the activity.
So is a warm up routine something that you would do only on competition day?
No.
Okay.
Anytime you're participating in any activity, you want to get a good warm up before you start competition, or just your regular routine.
So even just when you're being active year round, like you recommended, warming up before those activities are good.
Absolutely.
Good idea. Awesome. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we are visiting with Brittany Pollastro, who is an athletic trainer at Dixie State University, and we're just talking about how to prevent injuries a little bit. So you mentioned year-round activity. I want to focus on that just a little bit. If you're an athlete that competes in a specific sport, let's say softball, is the best way, in your opinion, to stay active year-round, is it to play softball year-round, or is there something to diversifying your workout a little bit? Yeah,
you don't necessarily need to play softball year-round, and that kind of wears on your body if you're trying to do that. I would recommend various activities, hiking, biking, running, weightlifting, kind of switch it up a little bit. So then you're working all muscle groups, not just the ones that you're going to be using in your special event.
Would you recommend, or is there any research or studies that show that competing in competing, not just exercising, but actually competing in another sport might actually help you in your primary sport? Do you know anything about that?
I've heard of that, and I've witnessed that a lot, but I haven't read any research on that. So, but getting the development of all your muscles will definitely help you in the long run anyway.
Certainly wouldn't hurt.
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. So let's say that the worst case scenario happens, that you're trying to do the best that you can to warm up and be prepared and get yourself ready to go, but you sustain an injury. So what do you do at that point? What's the smart thing to do?
Stop what you're doing. So if you're having
you don't just grit your teeth and fight through the pain.
There's a lot of football players from the 60s who didn't understand that.
I think from the 2000s as well.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so you just want to immediately stop what you're doing. Depending on the injury, you might want to go see your doctor. If you're at the senior games, we have athletic trainers available. You can come in, get evaluated. Definitely throwing some ice on there right away will help with the pain, will help with the inflammation. But you want to get it evaluated either by one of us athletic trainers or a doctor, and then kind of go from there with the treatment and rehab protocol.
Can I share a brief story?
Absolutely.
The last time I got injured participating in a sport, I was playing church basketball. And they were.
And did it turn into a boxing match?
No, actually, it was.
Oh, it was a basketball injury.
It stayed basketball,
okay,
but it was the opening tip, and I was playing center. That shows you how, I'm only 6'2", so it was a short team. And I went up, and my little finger on my right hand got jammed. I mean, I could see it was a little shorter than it had been.
Oh, so it really
dislocated.
got
it hurt. And I'm standing there looking. I look over the bench. There's only 5 people there.
But
so I can't leave. I mean, 5 people on the team. There's nobody,
so there was no one on
the
the bench, you mean?
So
Okay.
I grabbed my finger, gripped my teeth, popped it back out and played the rest of the game so we didn't have to forfeit. So I didn't follow your advice, but that's my story.
That's all right. Did you get evaluated afterwards?
No, you can see it's still crooked.
Uh-huh.
So did you pull a Michael Jordan and score like 60 points that day? Or
no, I'm not tough. I'm a whiner. When they throw the ball to me, I'd
Stop throwing it to me. Stop throwing it to me.
You take it. The next time I jumped left-handed. So yeah.
So you talked about a couple of things that I think are worth focusing on. So if you're at the games, if you're a Huntsman World Senior Games athlete and you are at the games and you sustain an injury that is not life-threatening or obviously in need of a trip to the hospital, and there are some of those that are obvious, a broken bone, a severe laceration, those types of things, we should immediately head on over to the hospital or to the Instacare.
Yeah.
But a slight strain or a sprain or something like that, it's important to know that the games does have professional trainers. They're on hand. They're in the Dixie Center, and they can come over at any time when the Dixie Center is open and get an evaluation and have someone look at it. Now, do you do taping as well?
Yes. So we have basic supplies there, so we can handle any first aid issues, taping, pretty much whatever the athlete needs, we can help with. So.
Right. So then the next thing is you're not at the games and you're just out trail running or doing whatever you're doing and you get injured. What recommendations do you have at that point if there's really no professional trainer around to help? So
it depends on the injury. If it's not life-threatening, just rest a couple days, put some ice on it after activity, possibly take some ibuprofen, depending on your situation. That will help with the inflammation and pain. Rest it a couple days, see how it feels. If the pain has gone away, has subsided, then slowly introduce yourself back into activity. If it hasn't and it continues to get worse, definitely seek medical attention or visit your doctor.
So what's the downside of starting back up too soon? A lot of times people, and I would have this tendency to try to push myself too fast. Can you still work through that, or what's your recommendation?
No. So I wouldn't
do it. Don't do it.
Don't work through it. You'll probably make it worse. Especially if you're talking about muscle strains. If you continue and you have that pain, it's going to make it a lot worse, and your recovery is going to be a lot longer. So the sooner you stop, then the quicker you'll come back.
So rest really is the best medicine.
It is. Yeah.
And ice.
Yes.
Okay.
Rest and ice.
Yeah.
Muscles.
So that was my next question. You talked about ice, and we know the benefits of ice. I'm a little hazy on the benefits of heat.
Okay.
When is that important, or have we decided through research that that's no longer the way to go? Because it used to be alternate. You've heard so many things over the years. So
a lot of different theories.
What's your take on that?
So I like to tell my athletes to heat before. So before their warm up, before their stretch, heat before if they need to. It's okay. It won't do too much. If you're getting a good warm up, you won't need the heat. But definitely stay away from heat right when you injure something. It'll make the problem worse.
Well,
so always stick with ice.
Now, what about? you hear people who say, I just hiked 100 miles. Now I can't wait to sit in the hot tub.
Yeah, not a good idea.
No, go roll in the snow first, and then
yes, an ice bath would be better for that. Heat will increase inflammation.
Okay.
So if you have a new injury or your body's just been through a really hard workout, the heat is going to increase the pain and inflammation.
So that's good to know. So you really don't want to go alternate ice and heat. You just stick with
really.
the ice.
It's kind of an older idea. But
okay. All right. Interesting. We talked a little bit about the importance of warming up. Let's talk just briefly about the importance of hydration. What part does hydration play in competition as well as preparing for competition?
Well, with hydration, you want to make sure you're getting enough water and electrolytes to help not cramp, help the muscles recover as well. With hydration, especially in this heat, if you're active, you need to make sure you're drinking almost double the recommended amount, just to make sure your body is able to handle your activity and recovery. So here in St. George, it is very hot. We were commenting as we walked into the studio today that it was hot. It's 110 degrees. So obviously hydration is important there. What if you live in a cooler climate or a more humid climate? How does that play into your hydration plans? Well, especially with humidity, it's it's hard because you're sweating all the time if it's hot with the humidity. So you want to make sure you're still drinking enough water. So it just depends on the climate you're in and how much you need to drink.
Now, excuse me, I have heard that it's been said that if you wait till you feel thirsty, you've waited too long.
Exactly. Yes.
So that is true. That's not just an old
yeah.
wives' tale. That is true.
So I usually tell my athletes make sure they're hydrating the day before really well, and then the day of and the day after. So just make sure.
Now, see, I go back to my old football days when it's like, tough it out. You don't need water. You're a man. You keep getting up. Keep going. You don't need water. Just tough it out. You'll have a water break in 20 minutes. Keep going.
That really is the way it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I played football, it was the same thing. Water was for wimps. It was just, for whatever reason, that was the mentality. But staying hydrated is so important. And as you said, leading up to, especially the day of and even the day after, to stay hydrated is so important. Okay, well, we warned you in the hallway that we might ask you this, but what, Brittany, is your worst injury that you've had to take care of on the field of competition?
Of course. I've had a few that have been pretty tasty, but that's
a relative term.
No, just this last soccer season, I work with the men's soccer team, and I had one of my players went into a tackle, and he dislocated his knee completely. So it was all out of place. Femur and tibia weren't where they're supposed to be. Patella was then his kneecap was on the side of his knee. I had to reduce that dislocation and put it back in. He tore 3 major ligaments. Both of his menisci, had a femur fracture, and now he had surgery and he's on his way to recovery. The guy he collided with had a fracture of his tibia and fibula, so it was kind of wobbling around.
That sounds horrible.
That's pretty nasty.
Sounds horrible.
That's the
it
kind
was
of
a good
stuff.
Collision.
That's the kind of stuff on the TV when they say you might want to look away as we show you this injury.
For sure.
Exactly.
Well, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I
You've been a
appreciate
joy
it.
to visit with.
You've been a delight.
We appreciate you being here. That is about all the time that we have for Brittany. But Jeff, now is the time to register for the Huntsman World Senior Games. July is halfway over.
And we're almost over the early registration period.
That's exactly right. If you're interested at all in saving money, you need to register before August 1st. You'll save $20 off of your registration fee. And if you want to become an athlete at the Huntsman World Senior Games, it's easy to do. Visit www.seniorgames.net, and you can register today for the sport of your choice. We have some that are closed, but there's still lots to choose from.
Yes, sir.
We have lots of people who have registered. We have over 6,800 total athletes that have registered so far.
Yeah.
And we're excited about that. But come and be a part of it. It's going to be great. This year is our 30th anniversary.
Yes,
we've been talking about that, and we've been celebrating all year long. And if you'd like to celebrate with us, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/World Senior Games. And there you'll have opportunities to win prizes, including free entries or registration fee waivers into the Huntsman World Senior Games.
Very cool.
Tune in next Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time on AM 1450 or FM 93.1 for the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. And remember that you can listen to this and any of our previous episodes right from our website at www.seniorgames.net. And here, Jeff, is our inspirational thought for the day.
I'm waiting.
This is a good one. The one who falls and gets back up is so much stronger than the one who never fell.
That's true.
Until next Thursday, stay active.
Bye, everyone.